It started with Patrick, a small-time businessman James had scammed out of several $1,000s. Patrick had been polite at first, but desperation and fear made him dangerous. One evening, Patrick appeared at James's apartment, fists clenched, eyes wild. "Give me my money, James," he shouted. "I won't ask again." James felt something dark twist inside him. He knew Patrick could ruin him if he went to the police. Panic and rage blurred together. That night, James planned. He blocked the exits, waited, and when Patrick lunged, James struck first. The fight was brief, brutal, a clash of desperation against desperation. When it was over, Patrick lay motionless on the floor. The horror didn't stop James, it sharpened him. He knew he had to cover every trace. Blood-stained sheets were burned, the apartment scrubbed, digital traces deleted. But covering one death wasn't enough. Two more men who threatened him, a small-time lender and a local scam victim, came next. Each time, the pattern repeated. Confrontation, panic, a brief moment of violence, then meticulous cleanup. It was methodical, almost clinical. James didn't see himself as a murderer, he saw himself as a survivor. But the truth clawed at him relentlessly. Shadows that had once been abstract now felt alive. He could see faces in mirrors that weren't there. At night, he would wake screaming, hearing the cries of the men he had silenced. The city itself seemed to close in. Streets that once felt familiar now twisted into a maze. He couldn't escape the sense of being watched. Every stranger's glance felt like accusation. Every creak in his apartment made him jump. Sleep became impossible. By now, James was no longer just a man in debt. He was a haunted man, trapped by his own actions. He had power, but it was a hollow power. Each coin he took came with a shadow. Each lie he told multiplied the darkness inside him. And yet, he continued, because he didn't know any other way.
Detective Mara Alvarez had a reputation for refusing to close cases until she found the truth. When the three men disappeared under suspicious circumstances, most of her colleagues accepted the tidy explanations: accidents, coincidences, unfortunate timing. But Mara noticed patterns no one else did. She reviewed reports, photographs, and testimonies with patience bordering on obsession. Something about the closed files bothered her. Small inconsistencies caught her attention. The times didn't align, witness statements contradicted each other, a receipt didn't match the declared accounts. Mara followed these threads like a hound, listening to silences, noticing gestures, waiting for someone to slip. Her first breakthrough came when she interviewed a former associate of James, a man who had helped him erase digital records. Nervous, sweating, he admitted under pressure that James had been involved in violent encounters with debtors. But it wasn't enough to charge him. Mara needed proof. She returned to the apartment where Patrick had died. The walls had been scrubbed, evidence burned, yet Mara noticed something subtle: a faint discoloration under a rug, a hidden streak of blood. A forensic sweep confirmed it. DNA matched Patrick. Then she followed other threads: digital communications, bank transfers, the burned paper trail that wasn't fully destroyed. James didn't suspect Mara at first. He laughed when she approached, trying the same charm and lies he used on his victims. But she was relentless, asking questions he couldn't answer, pointing out inconsistencies that gnawed at his carefully constructed facade. Slowly, piece by piece, the walls closed in. The turning point came with a photograph found in a discarded wallet. It showed James at a charity event on the same night. Two of the men were recorded as missing. Dates were scribbled on the back. The photograph alone was not enough, but paired with witness accounts, financial records, and forensic evidence, it painted a picture impossible to deny.
The courtroom was tense. James sat, pale, fidgeting, his confident mask slipping. Mara presented the case meticulously: the murders, the threats, the careful cover-ups, the pattern of deception. Each exhibit, each testimony built a narrative that left little room for doubt. James's lawyer tried to frame it as coincidence, self-defense, or misunderstanding, but the evidence was overwhelming. Video footage, photographs, forensic analysis, witness testimonies all pointed to one conclusion: James Holland had killed to protect himself and had carefully erased his crimes. During cross-examination, James's facade cracked. He began to stammer, contradict himself, reveal details he had hoped to keep hidden. Each lie fell apart under Mara's precise questioning. By the final day of the trial, the jury had little choice. When the verdict was read life imprisonment without parole, James finally understood the weight of his choices. The freedom he had stolen from others had been replaced by the prison of his own making. Prison was worse than James had imagined. Not physically, he had survived worse, but psychologically. Shadows that had once haunted his apartment followed him into his cell. Faces of the three men, accusing and hollow, never left him. Sleep was haunted by dreams of those he had killed, replaying every moment in agonizing detail. Mara continued her work, visiting the families of the victims, ensuring the community felt justice had been served. She kept the photograph, the digital records, and fragments of testimonies in a file labeled the Holland case, a reminder that diligence could restore truth even when darkness seemed to win. James's story became a cautionary tale in the prison system, how desperation, unchecked, could lead to murder, how power obtained through deceit was always hollow, how no one escapes the consequences of their choices. Even in confinement, he sometimes smiled in the mirror, the same smile that had once charmed his victims. But now, it felt empty. The smile of a survivor had become the smile of a prisoner, forever haunted by the cost of his greed. Like and subscribe for more.